Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Illinois Stories. I'm Mark McDonald in Elkhart, on part of the property where cattle baron John Dean Gillette used to ship thousands of head of cattle to Chicago from here every year. Well, they still raise cattle here, but now they're also raising goats. And we've never visited a goat farm on Illinois Stories, so I thought you might want to see this because we're going to go back into a pen where these goats are a day and a half old. Come on back in here. And they keep it warm in here. There's a little heater here. I can figure out how to get in.
Just
there we go. And Mom and twins, which is typical for goats, are real busy right now. There's Mom. Her name is what?
Ariel.
Ariel. Okay, and we're going to get to meet these little kids too. Gillette, I was talking about your great-great-grandfather, I think, John Dean,
right.
And he used to ship thousands of head of cattle out
right.
here. And here you are, you've got 17 goats.
17 goats, right?
But it's a handful, isn't it?
17 goats and 40 head of cattle. Mm-hmm. Nothing by comparison, but we're doing what we can do with, because I grew up in Chicago. So it wasn't until moving down here that I really got involved in the livestock and discovered that I really enjoyed it.
For the past 3 years, you've been raising goats. We're going to meet your partner in this venture as we go through the program. We're going to see how you take care of these critters. But for starters, could we meet these two little ones?
Oh,
do you think
yes.
Mom would let us do that?
Oh, yes. I'm sure she would be
let's see if we
relieved.
can-
This is the little girl.
Okay, I'm going to try to put her on a towel. There we
There
go,
you
because
go.
they can get a little messy. Okay, this is the little girl. And twins, I mentioned twins is typical, right, of births.
Twins are very typical.
Oh, they're so cute. A day and a half
This
old.
is the little boy.
Mm-hmm. And you don't name them, right, because it's too painful to name them and then have to take them to market, I guess.
That's right. That's right. I'm learning. I'm learning. I had no idea how captivating these little
they're
fellows
so
would be.
I mentioned that, of course, you are still learning because you've only been doing this in your third year, right?
That's right. And every mistake that could have been made, we have made.
Oh, it's okay. You comfortable? You comfortable? You warm enough? Oh, yeah, okay. I think they're hungry is what they are. Okay. Okay. And how many births will you have this year?
Well, we have 15 more pregnant does to go. Mm-hmm. Are you going to hold on to them?
You go ahead and take her, and then she can get a bite to eat. There we go. She behaved herself. She didn't squirt.
All right.
15 pregnant does.
You'll notice some of the positions that these little ones have to get into to get underneath Mom. Hey, brother, move over.
This is why triplets doesn't always work, because they only have 2 teats, right?
That's right.
Yeah, nature knows best most time. They're happy now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, look at
and
those
when
tails,
the tails go,
Mm-hmm.
they are
means
connected.
They're attached, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And you'll raise how many kids? This year?
Well, if we get twins out of each of the remaining, we will have an additional 30 kids. And who knows? Who knows?
There's a real market for goat meat, isn't there?
Yes, actually, certainly in metropolitan areas, Chicago, St. Louis, even Decatur, where there is a high population of Islamic or Mediterranean, Mexican, Puerto Rican, it is a much favored meat, and it's actually very low in cholesterol as compared to lamb. It is much less fatty, much better for you, and considered the #1 red meat in the world. And from a standpoint of trying to raise goats, goats are very thrifty browsers, whereas cattle require fairly lush pastures. Goats can get by. If you've seen any of the travel logs from around Israel.
Oh yeah, in the Middle East where there's nothing to eat at all. They
It
seem to
looks
thrive.
like they're eating rocks,
Yeah.
but so they do very well on less than perfect.
Yeah, so particularly people from the Middle East, they're used to goat meat, and that's their preferred. And then you actually you do have a place where you have a sale barn just over in Arthur where you can take the animals.
Right, right. And we are trying to establish a website so that we have a little bit better connection with the people who are looking for goat.
Well, when we go through this program, we're going to get to meet more goats, of course, but also some people that helped you in this venture. You have a partner, and you have somebody that helped you build a barn, and we'll see how you take care of the animals, and we'll talk a little bit more about raising them. They sure are cute.
They are very cute, very cute.
Well, Brett Conrad, we're looking at part of your operation over here, which is cattle, livestock. This goat operation, you've been in it with Gillette for 3 years now, I guess.
Yeah, getting there.
What'd you think when she brought up the idea?
She's brought it up longer than that. So.
Oh, she's been hounding you about it for a few years. Huh?
I kept putting it off for a while until she finally broke me down, I guess, enough to agree to do it with her. I was nervous she was going to do it herself, and I'm here with the cattle and the crops already, so I knew I was going to get talked into helping with them eventually, so I figured I might as well be partnering them at the time.
Well, how's it working? Are you learning?
Yeah, every day is a learning experience with them. So I've been around sheep and hogs and cattle and, different times of my life, all my life, and, goats are definitely different. They're pretty labor intensive and things, and they seem to be very friendly too. I mean, they tame very easily, and I said they're her pets, and
yeah, but that's
some
dangerous to have pets as a farmer, isn't it? Because you got to sell them, you got to take them to market.
Well, I said I don't name anything, and she names all of them, and I tell her,
she's getting over that, though. I think she's getting over it. Yeah. If we look down that way, well, shucks, they're gone now. I guess they. But the cattle don't stay. They don't stay with the goats, do they? Or
no,
they keep them separate. And that's the goats end of the area down there, and they've just gone inside for now. Okay, so we'll see more goats later on. As we look back over where your cattle are, though, there's a huge tillable area down there, and you also farm that area.
Yeah.
Cash crops, huh?
Yes.
What do you grow down there?
Corn and soybeans, down there for her. So
it's terrific ground, isn't it?
Yeah, some of my better crops are out of these two fields over here. So nice black dirt, and then the hillside kind of, keeps the wind down, and it seems to hold the heat in the spring and summer, so the crops just take off and grow and yield pretty good every year, even last year when we hardly had any rain. So.
As far as feeding the goats, do you grow any feed for goats, or do you buy all?
No, we buy it all. We buy it in like a pelleted, mixed form with all the, corn and supplements and minerals and stuff they need. So it's just easier that way.
Yeah, yeah. And you got your goat herd up to about 17 now. Are you looking forward to growing that? Is that enough for you?
Yeah, I think 20 has always been our, cutoff point. So the cattle have kind of taken off the last few years. When I started up here with Gillette, we had 17 cows altogether. I think we're up to 38 plus another 8 coming into the herd. So
is the market good for that now?
Yeah, the cattle prices the last 2 years have probably been the highest, that we've ever seen. So.
And the goat market?
Yeah, it fluctuates. So depending on the seasons and things like that, different religious holidays and stuff, they tend to be a little higher. So if you time it right, they can be, pretty profitable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, good. Thanks for visiting with us. I know you're a busy man. You get to go back to work.
Yeah, and on a dreary day, I got to spend all day outside. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Gillette, in some cases, you want to bring the whole herd inside.
Right.
If you were to have like an ice storm coming up or something, and you got to get them, but it's probably easier said than done. Or is it easy to get them inside?
Generally, once they've done it a couple of times, they really respond to the feed.
Oh,
and they come on the run. But, we haven't done this recently because there has been no need. But we're going to see if they remember. They're very smart, and they still understand feed. They understand feed.
Let's go see if we can move them inside then. And we stay out of the way, right? Because they may just charge.
Well, right. We're going to kind of escort them.
Okay.
All right, Peter. Come, girls. Come, girls.
Oh,
Come,
yeah.
girls.
Oh, yeah.
Come, girl.
Is that everybody, Gillette?
Yes.
Is that okay? And we got.
And you might have noticed the
and
dog.
Now, he's good friends, huh?
This is the livestock guardian dog.
No kidding.
She lives with the goats.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
is
yes.
That
Yes.
typical for a herd?
That is very typical for a herd that is in a coyote-prone area.
Oh, okay. That's
And
for protection, huh?
she's a little bit nervous about people because her family is the goats. Good girl, Ivy.
Oh, she is a good girl.
Good. She's an Anatolian shepherd, and she is bred specifically for this job.
And she can live outside. She's
She
hardy.
lives outside. She gets fed dog food twice a day. She's got water. But this is her family. This is who she is.
I wonder if she thinks she's a goat. Peter Niehaus, you're a chef, and you've been a farmer, and you're a carpenter too. And for the purposes of this story, you're a carpenter today because we're standing in the barn here that was retrofitted for a goat operation. So tell me what you had to do here.
Well, we started off with the basic cattle barn or farm barn, which is basically designed for storage of big equipment. And we discovered we had this huge height where there was a lot of air which we had to get rid of, and the way to do that was to put in lofts. So we created, over the open stalls which were there and over this area here, we created these lofts which are now used for hay storage or straw storage, okay? And what it automatically does, of course, is it insulates the stalls, especially the nursery area, from the cold. So it helps tremendously to keep the air temperature up enough so that they are comfortable. And part of the reason why we do that is because in the old days, babies to cattle and calves and goats and everything else was born in the spring, but nowadays with the operations they have, they basically calve and have babies all year round.
Yeah.
So one has to take that into account. So you have to create an atmosphere which is reasonably good for them, but you can't make it too warm because otherwise they lose their winter fur, which means that they can't go outside.
Then you can't go out. That's interesting. So you really have to be on, it's a fine line, isn't it?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because you got to keep the babies warm.
And the mothers.
And the mothers, and then you got to keep the other adults kind of cool because you don't want them to lose that fur.
And the other thing,
That's
of course, is this, they don't mind cold as much as they don't like wind, and they do not like rain. They do not like getting wet. So that's another thing that you have to take into account. So when we created this operation, especially this area here, we created this as an indoor place. When it really got bitterly cold, we had blizzard conditions where the snow would be drifting and everything else. The whole herd could come inside.
And we're talking about these pens,
This
just
is
to
these
my
pens
right
here,
down.
yeah.
Okay.
And these pens were designed so that in the case of having to use the barn for any other purpose during the summer period, all these panels are removable. They just lift off. They're on hinge pins, so they can be taken off. And all the panels are insulated. And the other thing you'll see that they're all actually covered with metal. The reason for that is goats eat everything. So we cover them with metal, and also it means that they can't climb them because they tend to climb a lot. So if you make them slick, like they are, they can't get out of there, you know. And it meant that this panel here, for instance, is permanent, but the other panels can all be removed. And the back panels can be hinged open, so these doors can be open, so you can still use the whole facility of the barn as it should be.
How smart.
You know?
Yeah.
And we kept it very simple hinges with a fair amount of strength in them, easily to open and close with just drop catches on them, so there was no fancy bolts or anything else. So and then this area, of course, is now what were originally horse stalls, and we're using those as the nursery area, so the babies can actually be born in those areas, and with heat lamps and heated water, we can actually, create an atmosphere and a temperature that is consistent with being comfortable at birth. Okay. Then the back area there, that is our primary nursery, and those there are two nurseries in there which are about 8 by 6. That's all the space they need for a mother and maybe 2 babies, with heated water barrels, and they have actually got installed water heaters which actually create a temperature which is conducive to giving birth. You know. And then, of course, they are obviously fed in here. You know, the system requires heated water because it does get cold in here, but not to the point where they're mostly required to be out of the wind and rain, and that's basically what we do with this area.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay.
Well, Gillette, let's see what we need to do with this young lady here. What's her name?
Sissy.
Sissy. Okay.
Come on,
And
Sissy.
I've been told you're not supposed to name goats, but you do anyway, don't you,
Well,
Gillette?
she is part of the herd. If I were going to sell her, I shouldn't name her.
She's fighting this.
Yeah, well, she's... Come on, sissy girl.
It's a
Up
good
you
thing.
come.
Good thing they have
Up you
horns.
come.
There's something to grab them by,
Yeah,
right?
little handles.
Yeah. And what are we going to be performing on her?
We're just going to do a quick hoof trim to show what that's about. And I'm sure that Brett already explained to you the fact that this whole operation, neither of us really had a whole lot of experience with before. So this is all on-the-job training.
But you have done this before,
Oh,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And in 3 years, how often would you have to trim Sissy's hooves?
Actually, they need to be trimmed now about 4 times a year.
Okay.
And it's best if their hooves are wet, you know, as it has been the last few
It's softer, huh?
days, because it's softer. Otherwise, they can be just as hard as rock.
Yeah. Well, show us why you need to trim that. Show us what part you need to trim, and we need to come around this side. Okay, we need to come around here.
See, if you look, see how these are all curved in? And
Yes,
what you
they
need
do.
to
They
do...
curl under, don't they?
Yes, and they can create hoof rot and all kinds of problems. So it's not difficult. It's just something that needs to be done on a timely...
It doesn't hurt her at all, does
It's
it?
just like fingernails.
But I imagine you can go too deep, and then it would be a problem.
Right,
Yeah.
and you don't want to do that. But as you can see, if you allow it to go too long, you could trap a tremendous amount of...
Yeah. I mean, is there a chance they would get an infection
Yes.
or something? Really?
Yes, hoof rot is certainly part of the issues that you try to avoid. And you can tell when the goats are beginning to walk funny. Oh, hush now,
She didn't like
Sissy.
that.
She said, "You're talking about me."
You can tell when they start to walk funny that they need the care, huh?
Yeah, they'll rock back on the back part of their feet, and so I'm probably not cutting as close as I could. But you can see why this would
there's
be
a lot
necessary.
of mud in there.
Yeah. It traps it.
And you'll do all four. All 4 hooves are the same, right?
Right.
And will you do all the goats at one time, or do you just
yes.
you do?
Usually what we do is we set up 2 stands, and we can actually trim 2 feet at a time. Nathan can grab the front on that side, and I can grab the rear on this
and
side.
she can stand that
and
way.
she can stand because she's got the
Yeah.
diagonal feet bracing her.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And it goes pretty quick once you actually get to
when
it.
they are soft and when it isn't too cold, because for the person doing the trimming, your hands begin to get very cold.
Yeah.
So picking the time of the year that you do it, and they're probably just about ready. You want to do it before they're tremendously pregnant, because obviously
Is she pregnant?
she is pregnant, but she probably is not going to be due until,
soft.
I would think, maybe February, because she was one of the last to become bred. So, and she was the firstborn. She was born January 1st, so she is just coming on a year old right now.
Be darn. And so they can be bred their first year. Yeah.
The weight limit and the size limit is kind of the determining factor. They prefer that they be 80 pounds before they're bred, because you want them to develop skeletally so that they can withstand, you know, whatever. If you breed them too early, the calcium that would go into their bones actually is going into the babies, and
They
they
don't
end
reach
up
full growth. Then,
yeah,
full
they
strength,
they
yeah.
don't fully develop.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetie.
Thank
Yeah.
you for showing us that.
You're a good
Yeah.
girl.
And you
Yes,
are a
you
good
are.
girl. Okay, Gillette, you have to be a little bit of a veterinarian to do this too, don't you?
Right. Obviously, calling the vet every time you needed to administer shots would be so cost prohibitive, you'd never get
You
anywhere.
gotta learn this stuff on your own, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just learned how to draw blood for a pregnancy test. I felt very accomplished.
Okay, so we're going to give, and let's first introduce this little critter here because I don't think we've met her. Is this a her or a him, this
Well,
little fella?
you know, I think it's a her.
Oh, look at her.
And she is about 5 days old now. And she is a full-blooded boar, and so is her mother.
And that's the breed of
That
goat,
is
the boar.
that is a specific breed. The boar goats came from Africa. And you'll notice that all of our goats are not looking like this. We also have Kikos, and we also have Spanish and hybrids of all of them. Because we're not into it for show quality, we're into it for meat production.
Yeah. Now you said that this little one's how many days old?
About 5 now.
About 5. Will Mom get mad if we approach, or is Mom okay with that?
Mom should be okay with that because they have been handled quite a bit.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is, if you will hold
The syringe?
the syringe,
Okay.
and that has Bosi in it, which is an injection that we give to newborns to boost the selenium, which they are not getting naturally in Illinois. We are
It's not in the earth? The selenium's not in the earth?
No.
Okay.
And so in order to prevent things like white muscle disease, if we give a preventative shot, it will help to defray, any problems later on.
And that's only for the kids. The adults don't need this?
They get an annual shot in March, the entire adult herd. But for the children as they are born, the kids as they are born, if we do it within a couple of days of their birth, then they're off to a good start.
Okay.
And she only gets like a quarter of a cc, I mean a very small dose.
And you've
But-
already loaded that in here.
Right. And she, of course, is also very small, so
It's
it
very
works.
small.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we logistically arrange this? Can I help you?
You hold that. I'm
Oh,
going to
okay,
pick
well,
up the goat, and then you can hold the goat, and I'll give her the shot.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And as long as Mom's okay with me holding the goat, I'm fine with it.
Come on, wee one.
And the towel is for what?
Is for your protection.
Oh, she gets a little, she might just squirt a little bit, huh?
Well,
Or probably
what goes in
will. Yeah, okay.
comes out.
Okay. I think I have, okay, you take that now.
All right.
Okay. And I have her. Oh, she's nice and warm.
Oh, yes. Yep, yep.
What part of the anatomy are we going to be putting the needle into?
This is sub-Q, so we're just going to pick up a little flap of skin on the neck. It's okay, Bo.
Bo, you're a good boy, Bo. Yeah. Oh, I got you. That was it, huh? It
There
did
you
stick.
go.
It stuck him just a little bit. I could tell.
Yep.
And you okay? Did we squirt, or are you okay?
I think we're okay.
Okay. Oh, you sure are a cutie.
Well, Mark,
5 days old.
she's available.
Yeah, you're in the business to sell
Yeah,
goats.
yeah.
And Mom is really worked up now.
Now, if you'll notice, the minute you pick up a baby, the mom starts looking for her. It's like, what happened to my baby?
Oh,
Even though
okay.
the baby's
I
right
better
here.
put the baby back. Okay. All right, let's do that. Okay. Here you go. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. There we go. Now she
Yes.
can look for that teat, right?
Yeah. She says, oh, it must be time to eat. Maybe
She
not.
just had the one baby, huh?
She only had one, and she's a young goat, so that's not unusual. Now, she had 2.
Is she a yearling also?
She is about, I think she's about 2 now. And her last kidding, she did have twins.
Oh, okay.
And so if you
Very nice
watch,
feeding.
now when the tail starts wagging, it usually indicates that they are attached and drinking.
Oh yeah, there goes the tail.
See?
Yep.
The little tail just goes.
Boy, they really tear at that though. They
Oh, boy.
rip at it, don't they?
And you think, how in the world could the mother, deal with that?
Yeah, I would
but
think
they,
it'd be sensitive.
They do.
But
They do.
yeah, she's doing just fine. No, look at that. Tail's
You
wagging.
can't-
we
you-
can't see it from the camera's angle, but the tail is wagging.
Let me see if I can get the tail out where you can see it.
There, I mean, she's attached.
And you'll notice the mother consistently smells And that is one of the things that is almost impossible to sneak somebody else's kid in on somebody's.
She knows the scent of her own.
She knows,
Yep.
and she checks repeatedly. I'm not sure how she thinks somebody's going to slide in there
Yeah.
at a time like this,
Yeah.
but she
Well,
is
you might
ever
try to play a
vigilant.
trick on her.
That's
so she,
right. That's
Okay.
right.
Well, we are looking at Hildegard here. She is the one that will deliver kids next. She's the most pregnant. But every one of these female goats here, and they call them does, is pregnant and expected to deliver by February. Each one will have between 1 and 4 kids. With another Illinois story in Elkhart, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you. For a DVD copy of the program you've just seen, send $19.95 to Network Knowledge, P.O. Box 6248, Springfield, Illinois 62708. Be sure to include the program name, subject, and when the program aired. You can also order with your credit card by calling 800-232-3605.